अभियुक्तं बलवता दुर्बलं हीनसाधनं कृतस्त्वं कामिनं चोरम अविशन्ति प्रजागराः. Mahatma Vidura's golden words of wisdom. Right towards the end of Udyoga Parva in Mahabharata, Vidura has an extensive conversation with Dhritarashtra. Right before the war, Dhritarashtra is gripped with fear. He is sleepless and he is unable to handle the baggage of emotions that he experiences, knowing fully well the outcome of the war. Vidura spends a whole night addressing the root cause of Dhritarashtra's sleeplessness. Dhritarashtra admits to Vidura. Dhritarashtra admits that he is unable to sleep and he wants to know how to overcome all the negative forces that are pulling him apart throughout the day and throughout the night, preventing him from resting, preventing him from sleep. And Vidura begins with a very profound answer. Vidura says, Abhiyuktam palavata durbalam hina sadhanam Khritastvam kaminam choram avishanti prajagara. He straight away gives 5 reasons to Dhritarashtra. 5-fold reasons for his sleeplessness. Golden words of Vidura. He says, Abhiyuktam balavata. A Dhritarashtra, one who antagonizes a mightier person, can never sleep. When one is scared, it leaves a scar in the mind. When one is scared, it leaves a scar in the mind, and this scar in the mind makes peace scarce. When the mind is full of hatred, there is no question of sleep. Therefore, the first cause he identifies for his sleeplessness is hatred. Abhiyuktam balavata durbalam. When one is physically weak, physically sick, one cannot sleep well. When one is mentally weak as well, one cannot sleep well. When one is overpowered by one's own mental weaknesses, temptations, one cannot have a good night's sleep. Durbala is the second cause Vidura highlights. Hina sadhana. When one is helpless, when one loses everything and is in great fear, fear of loss. Fear of loss is more dangerous than desire to gain. It's not more powerful, it's a greater force. Therefore, when one is gripped with fear of loss, one becomes sleepless. Hina sadhana. Kritastvam kaminam. When one is ruled by one's desires, baser desires, animalistic desires, one becomes sleepless. And the fifth reason Vidura identifies is choram. Kritastvam kaminam choram. A thief, one who tries to possess anything which does not rightfully belong to one, then one can never sleep. When there is even an iota of greed in the mind, then one cannot have sound sleep. Abhiyuktam balavata durbalam hinasadanam kritastvam kaminam choram avishanti prajagaraha. Vidura spends quite some time that fateful night with Dhritarashtra, counseling him. What he began on that day, Vidura is eventually going to conclude now. We saw that Suta highlighted, recounted the glorious birth of Parikshit in Adhyaya 12 of Prathama Skanda. Now, in the process of recounting how Parikshit eventually got coronated, Suta is going to reveal the events to all the rishis of Naimisharanya, all the events that unfold. The events that unfold leading up to coronation of Parikshit. Adhyaya 13 of Prathama Skanda is very poignant. It's very striking, because here we see once again conversation between Vidura and Dhritarashtra. It is like the concluding conversation of what is popularly called Vidura Niti in Mahabharata. What started off in Udyoga Parva in Mahabharata, now Vidura is going to conclude. Quite a striking message that Vidura is going to give to Dhritarashtra. As we all know, Vidura leaves Hastinapura and goes off, unable to witness the catastrophic events unfolding. Vidura walks away, goes on a pilgrimage, and now Vidura returns to Hastinapura. When Vidura returns to Hastinapura, everyone is much relieved, because Vidura was a symbol of dharma, was a symbol of wisdom, was a great source of strength for many in Hastinapura. Everyone is relieved that Vidura is finally back. Vidura goes on a long pilgrimage, visiting the length and breadth of Bharata. And then when he comes back, everyone is eager to listen to Vidura, to find out what he has been up to. Vidura also has been to Dwaraka as well. So therefore, everyone also is eager to know what has been going on in Dwaraka. But of course, Vidura is going to be very circumspect. He's not going to reveal all the incidents of Dwaraka, knowing fully well that the Pandavas possibly cannot stand the sad news that is unfolding in Dwaraka. So when Vidura comes in, everybody starts to have a conversation, and Yudhishthira pays respects to Vidura. Yudhishthira is thrilled that Vidura is back. And Yudhishthira looks at Vidura and says, Mahatma, Bhavad Vibha Bhagavataha Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho, he says. Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho. Look, whichever place you go to, hey Vidura, that place becomes a place of pilgrimage, he says. He says, Vidura, you don't need to go visiting different places of pilgrimage, because wherever you are, that place, that very place becomes a place of pilgrimage. Bhavat Viva Bhagavata, you are Bhagavata Uttama, he Vidura. Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho. Tirti Kurvanti Tirthani Swantasthena Gadabrita. Why the place, wherever Vidura is, that place becomes a pilgrimage. Yudhishthira says, why? Because you are carrying the Paramatma within you. Swantastera Gradavata. But then one may ask this question. Paramatma is indwelling in everyone. Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishtaha. Krishna is there in everyone's heart. So, why only in the case of Vidura, the place where he is in should become a Punya Kshetra? Is because Vidura is fully aware and he is rooted in the awareness of presence of Krishna within him. Krishna is very much present. But the question is, are we rooted in the awareness of his presence? When the inner world is bright, everything in the outer world has to be right. There is no point in blaming all the darkness around. No, we keep blaming everything that is happening outside, everything that seems to be going wrong, all the darkness around. There's no point in blaming as long as one is not lighting the lamp of wisdom within. If the foundation of the inner world is shaking, everything that we do in the outer world will also shake, cannot be steady. So how can one build the inner world? With the growing awareness of Krishna's presence within. Only when that awareness grows, that awareness manifests as one's personality, lighting up the outer world. That is the reason why Mahatmas like Vidura bring great confidence to people around. And that is why Yudhishthira looks at Vidura and says, the place where you are, hey Vidura, that place becomes a pilgrimage because that place is sanctified. Vidura, therefore, is pleased for having come back, but Vidura has a mission to achieve. Vidura did not come back to Hastinapura to stay. Vidura did not come back to stay and continue to do his affairs as before. Vidura has a purpose. The purpose of Vidura's come back to Hastinapura is to teach renunciation to Dhritarashtra, to ensure that he closes the conversation he started way back. So Vidura all the time has always been counseling Dhritarashtra. But now he knows there is one final lesson he has to give to Dhritarashtra. The most important lesson. And therefore, he takes all the pain of coming back. Nirgamyatam Shigram, he says. He looks at Dhritarashtra and says, Nirgamyatam Shigram, please get out of this place immediately. Now we see a different facet of Vidura. Vidura, the minister to the king Dhritarashtra, was different. He has always been very open, very forthright, very straightforward. But he was very circumspect. He was not very blunt before because he was a minister. But now the roles are different. Now we see Vidura being very blunt, very forceful to Dhritarashtra. After all, he has a duty towards his brother, elder brother, because he knows that his elder brother Dhritarashtra is decaying and he has to do something about it. Pashyedam bhayamagatam, he says, looking at Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra, see how your fear has overtaken you. You are just a pack of flesh and bones, a decaying flesh and bones, Dhritarashtra. Nirgamyatam shigram. Better get out of this place immediately. And we see Dhritarashtra having a very, very serious conversation with Vidura here. Vidura says, Yenacha iva abhipannoyam pranaihi priyataramai api janah satyah vijujyeta kim utanye danadivihi. A very, very straight and striking message to Dhritarashtra from Vidura. Life is an opportunity that is given to one and all. Unfortunately, that profound opportunity, that great opportunity gets trivialized. Most often in life, we take trivial things seriously and we trivialize serious things, knowingly or unknowingly. All the trivial things in life are taken very seriously. And we realize this in this very life. With age, as we start reflecting on, we also gain some wisdom as well. And if we reflect on several things that were taken so very seriously in life, are all extremely trivial. We spend bulk of our life taking trivial things so very seriously. And we waste bulk of our time trivializing serious things. Serious questions of life never get addressed until it is too late. Therefore, here Vidura is very clearly talking about how, as time passes, one gets completely swayed and pulled by time, and one doesn't recognize what's going on. And when recognition dawns, it possibly may be too late. To forget about loving Krishna, respecting Krishna itself is a question mark. Why do we say that? When do we respect a person, anyone? When we allocate time for that person. The indication of respect for someone is the amount of time that is carved out. So therefore, if Krishna is to be respected, then there has to be adequate time carved out for Krishna. But do we take seriously the time that is devoted to Krishna? This is the question that Vidura raises. Many a times, we prioritize everything else, and then Krishna becomes the least of our priorities. Everything else gets priority. And it is too late by the time when we realize, time comes when whatever is prioritized gets taken away, whether we like it or not. This sad but profound fact of life is being highlighted here by Vidura to Dhritarashtra. He says, Yena cha iva abhipannaha. Hey Dhritarashtra, you are pulled apart by time and you are overpowered by it. And you have no other option. I am prane priyataramai rapi. Your prana, which is so very dear to you, you have no other option but surrender it to time. Whether you like it or not, you can't cling on to your prana forever. What you hold dear, the most dear in life to you, everything that is dear in life to you has to be surrendered to time, whether you like it or not. Whether if you don't surrender it, it will be snatched away from you. Janaha sadhyo vijutyeta kim utanye dhanadibihi. If it is the case of prana, then what about other things? Dhanadibihi. Wealth, everything that you accumulate, all your possessions, all the time that you spend, hey Dhritarashtra, on your entire lifetime amassing, accumulating all the wealth, all your possessions, whether you like it or not, are going to be snatched away from you. Instead of prioritizing Bhagavan in life, you have prioritized everything else. And whatever you have prioritized is not going to stay with you. This is being taken away from you by time. And this is a sorry state that you are facing. And he says, Aho mahiyasi jantor jivitasha yatha bhavan bhimapavajjitam pindam adatte grihapalavat. Very striking point here. He says, whether you are unwilling to die, you do not want to die, you do not want to leave, and you have been leading, your body is becoming decrepit, you are decaying, and bhimapavajjitam pindam, you are like the house dog at the mercy of Bhima. Dhritarashtra, look at your fate. You are nothing but a house dog waiting for doles from Bhima. Is this what you want to be? After all these years, Dhritarashtra, haven't you still realized the need for detachment? Now, Vidura is building the case. He is giving a very, very bitter dose of medicine called detachment to Dhritarashtra. Now, detachment emerges from the right perspective of what is success in life. If success in life is all about accumulation, if that is the perspective of life, then there can be no detachment. Success in life is not about mere survival. It is about revival. If it is just mere survival, then there can be no detachment. So therefore here, Vidura is creating a case, a strong case for Dhritarashtra to realize the need to finally detach from the wretched state of existence. Okay, Dhritarashtra, you are not living, you are existing. You are just existing in a body which is decaying every minute, minute by minute. You don't call this living. You are just existing. You are just surviving. You are like a house dog of Bhima. And then he says, Tasyapi tava dehoyam kripanasya jijivishoho paraiti anichato jirnaha jaraya vasasiva vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya navani gannati naropara. Krishna says, Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya jaraya vasasiva. The body is like a garment, piece of cloth. It's just a matter of time. It wants out. Tasyapi tava deho ayam kripanasya jijivisha. He says, you are a kripana. Realize this, hey Dhritarashtra. You are a kripana. The goal of life is to be a brahmana. You have ended up being a kripana. What is the difference between a kripana and a brahmana? A kripana is a miserly one with a miserly state of mind, one who has not understood the reality of the nature of this body, the reality of existence. One, even though witnessing the decay that the body goes through, still has false hopes of continue to exist. He is a kripana. A brahmana realizes the true nature of this body and therefore is constantly connected with Brahman. Brahmajnana is foremost. That is why he is Brahmana. Kripana has no Brahmajnana. He's at the level of an animal, attached to the body and hoping that the body will survive. Tasyapi tava dehaha ayam kripanasya jijivishaha. Being a kripana, you have just been existing on this planet without adding any value to anyone with Dhritarashtra. You have been of no value. All the elders around you have died. All the younger ones, including all your sons, have died. You have done nothing to do any good to anyone, and you still continue to cling on to life, unwilling to leave your prana. What is the point? And even if you are unwilling to give up on your prana, it's just a matter of time, because your body is degenerating, and it is just a matter of time that you have to realize that what you hold so very dear to you will be snatched away from you with the Dhritarashtra. Therefore, you must realize this right away. Vidura says, you have been a kripana. You have been a kripana all through. You ideally should have been a narottama. Unfortunately, you have been a kripana. At least now, try to be a dhira. There are three important words that Vidura uses. Kripana, narottama, dhira. Gataswartam imam deham virakto mukta bandanaha abhignata gatirjachyat savai dhira udahritaha yasvakat parato veha jata nivveda atmavan kritikritva harim gehat pravarjetsa narottamaha. Vidura, having looked at Dhritarashtra and said, you are a kripana, and he defines who is a dhira and who is a narottama. Who is a narottama? Yasvakat parato vegha jita jata nirveda atmama. Nirveda, one who attains nirveda. Who is a narottama? One who has attained the state of nirveda. Yadate moha kailam buddhir gati tarishyati tada gantasi nirvedam. So shotasya cha sutasya cha, Krishna says. Nirveda. Nirveda is a state of disgust, is a state of total clarity on the fragility, falsity, futility of this materialistic world. Total clarity on fragility. Fragility of this materialistic world, knowing its impermanence. Knowing the falsity. What appears is not true. The way things appear doesn't present the right picture to the senses. Futility. The futility of trying to pursue eternal existence in an impermanent environment. So Nirveda is total clarity on the fragility, falsity, and futility of this materialistic world. It's a disgust. It's realizing that one has ended up wasting so much amount of time in one's life. It's like one is driving, going on forever, long distance journey. And then, without really realizing where one is headed to. And then, there is this symbol that comes, reserve fuel. Then one realizes that one actually is completely in the wrong direction and knows that only a little bit more fuel to go. And one has really wasted so much fuel for nothing. And no petrol pumps anywhere around. Striking reality that one is in the wrong place, in the wrong time, with the wrong resources. Because all the resources have been wasted. One has come away and away from where one should be and left with limited resources. realizing that one is in such a sorry state of nirveda. And Narottama is one who, having attained that state of nirveda, Vidura says, Kriti Kritva Harim Gehat Pravrajyetsa Narottama. But Narottama is one who doesn't just stay in that state of nirveda in a helpless state. He knows, he realizes that Kriti Kritva Harim Gehat. He knows that he has Hari with him. He realizes the state of nirveda. He also realizes finally that Bhagavan Sri Hari is with him. So therefore, he then completely surrenders to him and says, now you only, now I have no resources anymore to do anything. It is all up to you. I recognize now I am in the wrong place and in the wrong, I'm heading in the wrong direction. Now you guide me, you take me, and you lead me. He is an Narottama. But in Dhritarashtra, it is now too late for you to be even a Narottama. Because too late in your life. You are a Kripana, you have never been a Narottama. You have only been a Kripana. But at least there's an opportunity for you to be a Dhira, he says. Who is a Dhira? Gataswartam imam deham iraktaha mukta bandhanaha avijñāta gatirjahyāt savai Dhira udahrutaha. You still have an opportunity to become a Dhira, Vidura says. Who is a Dhira? Krishna in the Gita gives us a beautiful answer. Dehinosmin yatadehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tata dehantara praptihi dhiraha tatrana muhyati. Who is a Dhira? Dhira is a wise one who is not deluded. He knows that the Sharira passes through various phases, keeps undergoing changes from one state to the other. He is not alarmed. He is not deluded at all. He knows that he remains unchanged, undisturbed. The dualities of life have no impact whatsoever. He is a Dhira. He is the one who is ever prepared to cast off, to cast aside, to disassociate from this temporary association with that particular body. He is a Dhira. So therefore, Vidura looks at Dhritarashtra and says, Dhritarashtra, realize this temporariness of your association with this body. You now have to start preparing to depart. You have to start, instead of departing without any preparation, which can be disastrous, you need to now start preparing for it, Dhritarashtra. So therefore, Vidura makes a case to Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra finally lends his ear to Vidura. And then he asks him, so what should I do now? Vidura says, the only thing that you can do now is walk away from here. Walk away. Go north, up the Himalayas, to the banks of the holy Ganges. Spend the rest of your life there, preparing yourself to exit this body. And Dhritarashtra immediately takes a decision together with the support of Gandhari, and immediately, without making any announcements, Dhritarashtra and Gandhari walk away from Hastinapura. Vidura, having accomplished his mission, also walks away, because Vidura also has no more role here in Hastinapura. He also walks away. Yudhishthira gets to know that Dhritarashtra and Gandhari are missing, and Vidura also is missing. And Yudhishthira is worried. Is worried for the welfare of Dhritarashtra and Gandhari and Vidura. He's so very worried that now he starts to think, should I now send people to go in search of them. What is going to happen to them? Now, he being now the king, Yudhishthira now says, it is my responsibility. Their welfare is my responsibility. What will happen to them? What has happened to them? And he starts to lament. At that very moment, Narada visits Hastinapura, and Narada takes over the responsibility of addressing Yudhishthira's lamentation, and he dispels the darkness of doubts in Yudhishthira's mind. Narada gives some very important message to Yudhishthira. He says, Yatha gavo nasi protaha tantyam baddhascha dhamabhihi vatantyam navabhir baddha vahanti balim ishituhu. He says, Yudhishthira, you have to understand this fact of life. You of all the people know this. I'm only reminding you what you already know. Just like how a cow is controlled with a rope that runs through its nose. With a long rope, the cow is completely controlled. It has no freedom whatsoever. Similarly, every human being is inexorably controlled by the laws that govern this universe. The laws given by the lawmaker. Nobody can escape the laws of this universe, be it the physical laws or the spiritual laws. Whether we like it or not, there are laws that govern the workings of this universe, and nobody is above these laws. Nobody can afford to break them and get away. Every action has a consequence. And everyone is bound by these inescapable laws, and therefore, Dhritarashtra, you must understand that it is only the lawgiver, Krishna, the Leeladhari, who runs this universe. The workings of this universe are only known to him, and everybody else are just play their parts in his Leela. He says, Narada says, looks at Yudhishthira and says, Yata kridopaskaranam samyoga vigamaviha ichchaya kriditum shyatam tataive sechchaya nrinam. Just like how a young boy who is indulging in playing with toys, he takes two toys, brings them together, keeps them together for a while, and after some time separates his toys and brings some other toy and keeps the other toy together with him. Coming together and getting separated, the toys have no choice. The little boy indulging in this play, basically every toy is like a puppet. Similarly, Narada says Yudhishthira coming together and separation, because Yudhishthira is revealing, he's also overcome with emotions of separation from Vidura, separation from Gandhari and Dhritarashtra. He says there is no point. There is no point in this. And Narada says, Tasmad Jahyanga Vaiklavyam. This anxiety that you have, Yudhishthira, Vaiklavyam. The mental disorder, anxiety, Ajnanam Kritamatmanaha. Therefore, you have to give up this anxiety due to ignorance, hey Yudhishthira. Katam tva anatha kripana vartadeyam techa mamvina. He says, Narada, looking at Yudhishthira, says, you may be the king, but do you really think you are their protector? Do you really think, Yudhishthira, that you are the protector of Vidura, Dhritarashtra, and Gandhari who have left? For that matter, are you the protector of anyone? Do you think you are the protector? T with a capital. If you think so, think again. Definitely you are not ignorant here, Yudhishthira. The anxiety in your mind to protect is because of this ignorance. Give up that anxiety. Give up that ignorance. And then Narada gives a very beautiful analogy and a profound statement of wisdom to Yudhishthira. He says, Narada says, Kala karma gunadhinaha dehaha ayam pancha bhautikaha katam anyamstu gopayet sarpagrasto yathaparam. Says, Kala karma gunadhinaha dehaha ayam pancha bhautikaha. Yudhishthira, you know that this body of yours, made up of the Panchabhutas, is controlled by Kala, Karma and Guna. Time, Karma and the Gunas. It's completely controlled by them. Your own body is being controlled by them. Katam anyamstu gopayet sarpagrasto yathaparam. You yourself, your body is like a snake, like a serpent. You yourself are in the jaws of a serpent. And you think you can save others from other serpents? Isn't it a joke? Hey, Yudhishthira, think about it. You have been bitten by a snake and you are thinking that you can help others, protect others from being bitten by a snake. Samsara is like a snake. This body, which is due to samsara, is like a snake. So this is an example where Narada says, you have to realize that you are not the ultimate protector. Now, talking of the samsara, the body and the snake reminds me of great legend. The legend of a great Mahatma, an illustrious Acharya, Anantalvan. Anantalvan, a glorious Acharya who was one of the disciples of Swami Ramanuja. Upon Ramanuja's command, Anantalvan goes all the way to Tirumala those days in order to do Pushpa Kainkariya to Srinivasa. Now we are talking of a time which is almost 1,000 years back. Anantalvan spends his life dedicated to Pushpa Kainkariya of Srinivasa on Tirumala. And one day, while he was fetching flowers, he was bitten by a poisonous snake. And everybody around was panicking to do something about, to bring help. But Anantalvan was very calm and composed. He had only one thing to say. He said, this is a struggle between two snakes, he said, a struggle between two snakes. The snake which has bitten me, the snake, and the snake, this deha, product of samsara, which is another snake. This is a struggle between two snakes. Whichever snake wins, I have no problem. If this body, the snake which is the product of samsara, if this wins, no problem, I will continue to be here in Tirumala and do Kainkariya to Srinivasa. If the other snake wins, even it's even better, because I will reach Vaikuntha and continue to do service to Vaikunthanatha. So therefore, I am not worried at all. Sarpagrasto yathaparam. Narada looks at Yudhishthira and says, hey Yudhishthira, you are grieving, you are worried, you are anxious to protect Vidura, to protect Dhritarashtra, to protect Gandhari, but you yourself are not the protector. Therefore, you must realize that Krishna alone is the protector. And he knows how to protect, whom to protect, when to protect. So you don't need to unnecessarily worry about things. You have to do what you have to do. Narada says, the reason why I have come here is to give you a very important message to all of you, hey Pandavas. Krishna, as you all know, have descended to this planet in order to carry out the important mission of Dharma Samstapana, and his mission is coming close to an end. He is completing all the tasks. And let me tell you, sooner or later, he is going to depart. And therefore, you all must start preparing. Because the day Krishna departs, none of you have any more role to perform here on this planet. So therefore, I'm here to give you that message that you must all soon start preparation for your own exit. This is where we also get to realize a very important message. When there is no devotion, renunciation is very painful. Renunciation cannot happen without devotion. Renunciation will only happen, forceful renunciation will happen eventually. But when there is devotion, renunciation becomes joyful. So that's where we will see how Pandavas joyfully renounce. Stark contrast to Dhritarashtra's renunciation, which was more or less forceful, which forced upon eventually. So after having given the message, Narada takes leave, and then in 14th Adhyaya, we see Yudhishthira experiencing several bad omens. Yudhishthira starts to suspect something is not right, something is going wrong in Dwaraka. He starts to suspect that Krishna is about to depart. Yudhishthira experiences various kinds of bad omens. The left side of his body, his left ear starts to quiver. He experiences palpitations in the heart. He starts to hear shrieks of jackals. He starts to hear shrieks of owls and crows. All kinds of noises made by birds. And he also sees the Panchabhutas giving him various kinds of messages. Smoke in the sky. Thunderless lightning. He sees downpour of blood from the clouds, diminishing sun's rays. He sees stars fighting with each other. He sees deities in the temples perspiring. He sees all places, everything devoid of beauty. All of a sudden, everything looks barren. There is no more beauty in the world, in anything. Everything looks devoid of beauty. So Yudhishthira is really worried. He knows something is seriously wrong. And he is going around talking to everyone. And Arjuna also has not yet come back from Dwaraka. Arjuna had visited Dwaraka, and as Yudhishthira experiences these bad omens, Arjuna also arrives. But Arjuna is also in a state of dejection. Arjuna is completely in a complete back shape. Yudhishthira is even more worried looking at Arjuna. Looking at Arjuna's dejection, Yudhishthira starts to inquire, is your health all right? It looks like you have lost all your valor. Did you do something wrong? Did you disrespect? Yudhishthira goes on asking him questions for Arjuna's dejection. We also, through these questions, get to know what could be the various causes of genuine dejection, loss of health. Yudhishthira asks, have you disrespected elders and therefore are you dejected? Have you addressed or have you threatened somebody and therefore you are dejected? Have you not given charity when somebody asked you and therefore you are dejected? Have you broken a promise made and therefore are you dejected? Have you not protected somebody who should have been protected, and therefore are you dejected? Have you conducted yourself improperly with a woman, and therefore are you dejected? And have you not offered food to somebody who is hungry and who is in need, and therefore are you dejected? Have you committed some unpardonable mistake, something abominable, and therefore are you dejected? So he goes on asking Arjuna, but Arjuna is also in a state of shock, unable to speak up. Yudhishthira wants answers. Arjuna, you have come all the way from Dwaraka. How are the Yadavas? How is Surasena? How is Ugrasena? How is Vasudeva? How is Devaki? How are the queens? How is Balarama? Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Uddhava? No answers. And Yudhishthira cannot directly ask how is Krishna. He somehow gets courage, and he eventually looks at Arjuna and says, Bhagavanapi Govindaha Brahmanyo Bhaktavatsalaha Kachitpure Sudharmyam Sukham Aste Suhritvrataha. Kachitpure Sudharmayam is Bhagavan Krishna, the Govinda. Bhagavanapi Govindaha Brahmanyo Bhaktavatsalaha. Is he all right? Is he having a good time with everybody around? Taking care of the welfare of Dwaraka? How is our dear Krishna? And Yudhishthira does not get straightforward answers. And finally, Arjuna breaks down. Arjuna starts to somehow recount what has happened in Dwaraka. The sad end of the Yadus and the departure of Bhagavan to Vaikuntha. Arjuna had to bring back all the women of Yadavas, and in that process, Arjuna miserably failed. He was attacked on the way. And he failed to protect all the women folk of Dwaraka. Vanchito aham maharaja harina bandhurupina. Yename apahritam tejaha deva vismapanam mahat. Arjuna completely breaks down and he says, Vanchitoham maharaja harina bandhurupina. The one who is my most intimate friend, my Krishna, is no longer here with us. He has departed. He has decided to leave us all. He is no longer on this Bhuloka. And all the astounding powers that I have, which astonished all the Devatas, also is no longer with me. I have now become powerless because Arjuna, the great warrior, failed miserably fighting against some village folk who had no weapons whatsoever, who attacked him. And that is when Arjuna realized what was the real source of his power. Yasya kshana yogena lokohi apriyadashanaha uktena rahito hyesha mritaka prochate yata. Just like a body becomes a dead body without life, everything is dead now without Krishna. Everything is lost. The lust. Everything has become unfavorable. With Krishna's departure, nothing is any more auspicious. And Arjuna then declares, he says, Tadvai danusta ishabaha sarataha hayaste soham ratin rapato yata anamati sarvam kshanena tadabhut asadishariktam bhasmam hutam kuhakaradam ivoptamushyam, he says. He says, the Gandiva is the same. The Gandiva that made me the most coveted archer is the same. The arrows remains the same. The chariot remains the same. The horses remain the same. Arjuna remains the same. But all of this become null without Krishna. What is the use of Gandiva? What is the use of Divyastras? This chariot, these horses, what is the use of all of this? Arjuna, the conqueror of the world, who defeated Rathis, Maharathis, Athirathis on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The great Arjuna, who won the hand of Draupadi. The one who defeated Indra, who effortlessly encountered Shiva. The great Arjuna is no longer great. Where is this greatness anymore? Without Krishna, I am nothing. Just like there is no use of offering ghee, ahuti, to just ashes without fire. Or doing charity with durmati. Or sowing seeds in a barren land. What is of any use of anything that we have? We are nothing without Krishna. And that Krishna has decided to leave us all. And he has taken this decision. And therefore Arjuna completely breaks down. And he says, and he recounts all the happenings that has happened. He tells Yudhishthira that that moment has finally arrived for us all to also think about our next course of action. Arjuna, luckily for him, finally he takes solace in the words of Krishna and he overcomes the force of grief. Desha kalartha yuktani krit tapopasakmani cha haranti smaratas chittam govinda abhihitani me. The words of Krishna spoken to him, Arjuna says, I now take recourse in those words which Krishna spoke to me. Finally, Gita is coming to use. Arjuna says, it is because of those words of wisdom which Krishna gave me, I am unable to overcome the fire that is burning in my heart. Krit tapaha, he says. My heart is burning, heartburn. It is only because of Krishna's words of wisdom which bring me relief, which bring great relief to me. I'm able to overcome this grief. When the heart becomes only the seat for emotions, then there will be heartburns and heartbreaking and so on. But when the same heart becomes the seat for Krishna, then there can only be healing. And this is exactly what Arjuna is going through. He is going through a healing process. Because why? He is firmly established now, Krishna, within his heart. Therefore, Suta says, Suta uvacha, evam chintayato jishno, Krishnapada saroruham, sauhardena gaghadena, santasi vimalamatihi. Arjuna is now able to secure Krishna's divine lotus feet and focus completely on them. And therefore, with that, he is able to completely do away with all the impurities in his mind. And therefore, in spite of that great grief, Arjuna is able to overcome that and stay steady and convey all the news to Yudhishthira. And with this news of Krishna's departure, Kunti immediately also decides to depart then and there. She casts aside her body and she reaches her destination. And all the Pandavas then and there decide that the time has come for them to take the next step. They also realize that with Krishna's departure, Kali has taken a firm grip. Kali has fully manifested in Bhuloka, and therefore it is time for them to plan the next steps. Therefore, Yudhishthira coronates Parikshit. Parikshit becomes the king of Hastinapura, and Vajra, son of Aniruddha, great grandson of Krishna, is crowned as the king of Mathura. And having performed these two coronations, Yudhishthira decides to renounce everything and start to prepare for his own departure. And as Yudhishthira begins to walk away, all the Pandavas and Draupadi also follow suit. And thus comes to an end the glorious chapter of the Pandavas in the history of Bharata. And as the Pandavas walk away, Parikshit is preparing for the next chapter in the glorious history of Bharata, and we will see how Parikshit deals with the age of Kali in the coming Adhyayas. Sarvam Shri Krishna.